Welcome to the Geek Homeworld. I am your host, SavageTechman. We talk sci-fi, TV, movies, superheroes, and all from a geek perspective. You can find us on Blogger, Google+, Twitter, Facebook. We're everywhere. Join the Geek Homeworld. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Geek Homeworld podcast. This is episode 104, and I'm attempting to once again do a live stream while I'm recording this, so I'll be taking questions if any show up on the page here. You can check us out on YouTube, Geek Homeworld, and hopefully we'll be doing more of this and more interaction. So anyhow, we're going to be talking about Spiderman Into the Spiderverse and my reviews of it, and also Aquaman. And just to alert you, there will be spoilers ahead, okay? Usually I don't spoil things, but I may say something, so I just want to put spoiler alert out there before, everything kicks off. So like I said, I'm recording this, so this is whatever happens here. It's going to be on the audio. It's going to be on the video. Forgive me. I know my camera is over here, and I've got to get used to that. I'm not used to my new setup that I'm trying here for live streaming. So if anybody is on Facebook or anybody wants to check out Geek Homeworld, that's where we are, and we're talking these things. So let's talk about Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. First off, I want to get a shout out to Superman. Why? Because we're talking about Aquaman, and I don't have a Aquaman shirt. I don't think I want one, but I don't know. I'll let you know how I feel about Aquaman, and it might surprise you, and what implications it has for the DC universe. So here we go. Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. And forgive me, I have notes here. I'll pretend like this is my teleprompter. So if I'm looking away, I'm looking at my notes, okay? Directed by Bob Persichetti, Peter Ramsey, and Rodney Rothman, with writing credits going to Philip Lord, Rodney Richmond, for both of them doing the screenplay. And the story is by Phil Lord. Stan Lee gets a uncredited cameo in this, though I can't imagine why it's uncredited. He gets producer and stuff like that. Of course, executive producer. He always gets that, and he should. He's Stan Lee, and we miss him. We miss all the great things that Stan Lee brought to life, and Spider-Man was his favorite hero. I mean, the one that he created that was a teenage kid that just had issues and just had everyday problems, and he had to balance that with being a superhero. And Tom Holland's doing a wonderful job, like in Spider-Man Homecoming and the next sequel, Far From Home. I think it's Far From Home. Correct me if I'm wrong. And anyway, we have, like I said, spoilers, so here we go. Miles Morales in the Spiderverse, Peter B. Parker, he's kind of an unfit version of Peter that was just not so sure of himself. Gwen Stacy, who's also Spider-Gwen. There was Uncle Aaron in there. Jefferson Davis was a character. Aunt May, Rio Morales, Mary Jane, and so we have some big talent behind those voices. Like for Uncle Aaron, we had Mahershala Ali. We had Lily Tomlin doing Aunt May, an older version of her, which is more synonymous with the comics. But, really doesn't matter if it's a younger, an older Aunt May. I personally, my favorite Aunt May was from the original trilogy with Tobey Maguire. I just think the actress that did that, she was just so comforting, and she was such a kind soul. And Marissa Tomei is, cool also, but just totally two different actresses playing the same role different ways, and that's fine. There's no problems with that. We had Zoe Kravitz as the voice of Mary Jane, Luna Lauren Velez as Rio Morales, Haley Steinfeld as Gwen Stacy, Jake Johnson as Peter B. Parker, and Shamik Moore was Miles Morales. And there's a lot more people involved in the film, behind it, and of course the animation. Well, what were my thoughts? What were my overall thoughts for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? Well, I wasn't really super hyped about this, and I did hear it got 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, but that didn't seem to bother me. I mean, that kind of piqued my interest a little bit. I mean, I saw the trailers, but it's not the movie I'm most excited to see in this Christmas season as we finish up 2018. And no Star Wars movie, no trailer yet as of, I think today is what is today? I don't even know. I could look at my computer, see when I'm recording this. But as of today, of the recording of this, there is no... today's Friday, December 21st, 2018, so when I'm recording this. So as of today, there's still no trailer for Episode 9, and we're hoping by Christmas, our Christmas present will be, even if it's Christmas Day, an Episode 9 trailer. Just a teaser. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular, but of course I want spectacular. And after The Last Jedi and all of this divisiveness of the fan base, I really hope that J.J. Abrams can just restore the balance to the Force and to the fandom and somehow satisfy everyone and make Episode 9 just, everything it ought to be. So, with that being said, that's another subject for another time, and several episodes of podcast will undoubtedly do. And I just was very excited about the prospect of a trailer, so haven't got it yet. And now I know I'm getting off track here with talking about Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse and what I thought about it. And what I thought about it was great. It was a lot of fun, very well paced, and it went by at a relatively fast rate, so I don't think the movie really dragged much. I wasn't too blown away by that. Let's see. Did I have concerns with it? Well, one concern was visually at first, and I thought it was something wrong with our Big D theater at AMC that we went to, because there were these little grainy lines in the film, and don't let that throw you off, okay, when you go see it. And for those of you who've already seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But it's made comic book style, like you're reading a comic book, and it's kind of, they're reading comic books inside of the movie, so it's a comic book movie inside a comic book told in comic book like form. So and it works. It totally works, and it's a great movie. I would go see it again. It's good. It's very good. Everything's better in Big D. I haven't seen it in IMAX. I don't know that it's an IMAX. I don't think that it's an IMAX 3D, and it wouldn't work in 3D. I think with those lines, I think they would really just jump out at you, and they're kind of like skin tone lines and lighting to accentuate, to make it look like it was drawn. So it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's not at first it was a little distracting, a little off-putting, but it was barely noticeable. And so then, I got into it and I was like, okay, this is part of film. Okay, I get it. And so that's cool. That's cool. It worked for me. Should you go see it? In my opinion, yes, you should go see it. You're going to have a fun time. You're going to see Spider Pig, which is kind of silly. Yeah. And then there's an anime version of this young girl who has a robot. And I didn't read that comic, but she has like a radioactive spider that's in that, and like this robot that does stuff, and it's really cool. It's really a good setup. So that worked out really well, and just all in all, it was a good feeling movie. It's definitely, there's a scene that sets up a sequel, so looking forward to a sequel. I have to say that the studio did a wonderful job with Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. So, I didn't think an animated Spider-Man would work. I mean, when this was originally announced, I'm like, oh, it's just an excuse to have Miles Morales on or get more diversity, and and that's fine, and this and that. But nothing wrong with that at all. But I was also thinking that maybe the reason was that they just wanted to try something different, and it worked. It really worked. So enough about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It really worked. You should check it out. It's worth your money or going to see it. If you're like me and you've joined the AMC A list, it's been beneficial. I was on Movie Pass. I think I did an episode where I partially talked about how great Movie Pass was, and it went under, and I switched over, the wife and I, to AMC Pass. And hi, I see someone's logged on there, someone on the chat. If you are, you can chat, please type something. So say hello, hi. I can't see you on here unless you pop up on the chat. So I don't know if I can actually chat. Let's see, let me pull up the chat. Top chat, all chat, live chat, all messages are visible. So, but I can't actually type on here, so forgive me if I'm not. Let's do some effects here. Ooh, wow, there's normal, there's that, there's beam, blush, pop, crush. Let's go slate. Let's go dawn. Wow, it's dance party. Oh, there you go. That's funny. Okay, so we're doing a dance party now. That is a neat effect that I have on my phone. I'm sorry, I'm being distracted. For anybody that's glamour 8mm, that's supposed to have the little crinkly lines in it. Oh, sorry, hit the mic there. That's not good. Wow, let's get into some freaky stuff here. Okay, document, sepia, silver screen, haunting. Okay, that's there we are. And that's not freaking you out. I'm having a little bit of fun here with the things on my phone. Now there's sketch. Okay, now we'll take it back to, that's beam. That's normal. So we're back to normal. So now I know what that button does. So to whoever my one watcher is right now, I'm clicking on it. Sorry, it's not letting me see you. So you have to type something. I'm doing like Morse code here, so you can probably hear me. So whoever you are, I don't know who you are. I can't see you. I guess I could look on, I don't know. I'm not going to mess with the bandwidth. But anyway, so we're talking possible spoilers here for Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, and I'm about to give my review on Aquaman. So whoever's watching, welcome to the party, or whatever. So anyway, as I'm finishing up here talking about Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, should you go see it? Yes. That great, and spoilers. You got your Stan Lee promo? No. His appearance. Stan Lee makes an appearance in here. God rest his soul. And there's, you get different versions of Spider-Man. They all have to work together because Wilson Fisk, who's the Kingpin, he is trying to bring back his wife and his son. And he's creating this thing that basically is bridging all the multiverses. He's trying to bring them back into this universe. And you get that's how all the Spider-Men or Spider people are brought together. And, it's kind of like Elsewhere's, alternate reality thing, The Flash, stuff like that, but a little different. and it's done really well. The movie is a fantastic, fun ride. The kids will enjoy it. You'll enjoy it. Everyone will enjoy it. So go see it. So now, as a Superman fan here, let's switch gears. Let's talk a little bit about Aquaman. And so much is riding on this movie. And every time on the podcast here, and this was, by the way, will be, if everything works out well, episode 104 of the Geek Homeworld podcast. So if we're talking Aquaman, okay, Aquaman, is it good? Is it thumbs up? Is it thumbs down? It is 2 big thumbs up. I'm telling you, love the movie. I can't say that my wife was really excited to see it, but we went with some friends and they enjoyed it. I thought, we saw it in the Big D, by the way, just like Spiderman, but we saw it in the AMC Big D, and it was spectacular. I mean, of course, I'm a sound guy, so obviously not a visual guy, but I'm a sound guy. The sound was wonderful. There was a big battle scene. There's many battle scenes in Aquaman, and I tell you, Jason Momoa, I had heard that director James Wan, I'm fading out a little there, let me get a little closer, my autofocus is freaking out, sorry there, but anyway, James Wan directed it, and he apologized for the film when it came out. Now, it's already done bukus of cash over there that will probably greenlight a sequel already internationally, what it's done, the worldwide. Not that's even before the release here in the U.S. So is it worthy of that? Yes, it is. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'd see it again, and I suggest if you see it that you see it in the big format, like Big D. I don't know if it's an IMAX 3D or anything. It would be fantastic, I think, in that. And it was a great film. It was really good. I think you'd thoroughly enjoy it. And it's a long movie. It's 2.5 to 3 hours, per se. And so you're really invested in it. And you really have to spend some time with it. Jason Momoa, at first I kind of feel like he's being led around a little bit, but I think he holds his own on camera. I think he owns the part of Aquaman, and they've made, from the DC 52 reboot they did years ago that I thought was going to be a disaster, that turned out to be the best thing they ever did. Let me know if you disagree with that. Of course, they've kind of redone that already, or undone that, I guess, in the comics. But Aquaman, this storytelling of his dad being the lighthouse keeper, played beautifully by the gentleman who played Jango Fett. And I'm trying to find his name there. Who was he? Jet. No, that's not. No, wrong person. I can't find it, but you have Jason Momoa as Arthur. Amber Heard did a wonderful job as Mira, and she gets to kick some butt. So if you need to see a female kicking butt alongside the men, you definitely will see that with Mira. Now, Volko, who was kind of a mentor to Arthur, better known as Aquaman, is the wonderfully brilliant Green Goblin. I mean, Willem Dafoe. He's spectacular in the role. He does a good job. King Orm, who's trying to be Ocean Master, he is played brilliantly by Patrick Wilson, who did a wonderful job. Atlanta is played, that's Atlanna, not Atlanta, but Atlanta, is basically Arthur's mother, and King Orm is the full brother or whatever. So they're stepbrothers basically. It's a kind of Loki. Loki in this case would be Aquaman, and Thor would be King Orm. But you're rooting, of course, for Aquaman to win because it's Aquaman. And like I said, James Wan directed this. David Leslie and Jason McGoldrick, and Will Bial did the screenplay. The story was by Jeff Johns, so there you go. You got some royalty there that knows their comics. Jeff Johns, he's awesome, but he did the story along with James Wan and Will Bial. And then Aquaman's created originally by Mort Weisinger and Paul Norris. So there are so many other people. Manta, played by, and I apologize for not saying the name correctly, but Yaha Abdul Mateen II played Manta, or Black Manta, and he was phenomenal in this character. He survives to fight another day, and Dolph Lundgren, I always say that wrong, Dolph Lundgren, from the Rocky movies, obviously, and from Creed 2, he was in that, which you should go out and see if you hadn't. That's a very good movie. He was King Nereus, and I'm saying that wrong, Nereus. He was very good. This whole cast was a strong cast. Manta's father was named Jesse, was played by Michael Beach. He did a wonderful job there. And basically the reason Black Manta, or later as he calls himself Black Manta, as he's known in the comics, he is part of this group, this rogue kind of Navy group that sold an experimental submarine. And Manta's father, Jesse, he passes on this knife that belonged to his grandfather. So he said, it's yours, son, now. And they took over the submarine. They basically broke into the submarine and just, I guess, tried to take it over or whatever they were doing. And they end up working for King Orm, who's trying to, start a war and then unite all the seven seas, essentially. One of them being the Sahara, which is sunken, and they tell you about Atlantis in there, how it was sunken, and there's a lot of fascinating stuff. I mean, and I don't want to go too long because I need to wrap things up here with the live stream and the episode. And but anyway, so there's many fight scenes in this film that's just spectacular. So but Black Manta, as I was saying, or Manta, his follower was trapped in the submarine, and Arthur has a chance to save his follower, and he decides not to, which is what is going to create this lifelong hatred towards Aquaman and or Arthur in this case. And Black Manta, basically, he carries that with him, and he's like, he's going to pay for my life and for not saving my father, because he basically said, Aquaman told him, you sacrificed all these lives, let the ocean decide. And I'm like, wow. And there's a really cool use of his powers that, the telepathy, which is really him controlling the water that kind of controls the fish. He doesn't necessarily talk to fish, supposedly, but it works. And there's just some really badass moments in Aquaman, and you get to see the original suit that we're used to and the gold trident, and it's kick-ass. I mean, I'm really excited about this film. So, bottom line, Aquaman is fantastic. You should go see it. I wouldn't waste time going to see it. No, I take that back. Let me rewind that. I just said that and contradicted myself. What I was trying to say is, I would definitely go see it, and I would not waste time getting to the theater to see it, meaning hurry up and get your butt to the theater and go see it. And I hope it does really well. And I was concerned because we're in the Big D, and at first I had put out on social media that, yeah, my theater's not full, which concerns me. And then one of my friends tagged themselves watching, I had tagged myself watching Aquaman, and they tagged themselves watching Bumblebee. And I know there's a lot of Transformers fans out there that are kind of burnt out from the franchise, but Bumblebee feels like a restart. Now, they just announced in the comics, if you're following this, that the comics are going to do a Transformers comic, and they're going to start at like what the fans really want. So hopefully that'll bleed into the movies, and hopefully Bumblebee is a step in the right direction. And it's got to be after the last night, and of Transformers: The Last Night, which was not so good. And gosh, there's so much. Graham McTavish played King Atlan. He was good. Dr. Stephen Shin, played by Randall Park, he's going to show up later in Aquaman sequel, and I don't see a problem why there couldn't be an Aquaman 2, or the fights against him and Ocean Master were incredible, and then the fights between all the different kingdoms of the Seven Seas fighting was pretty phenomenal. The effects on this, the cinematography was top notch. The effects didn't take away. Some of it, looked a little fake, some of the fight scenes, but that's just how, when they're moving at like superhuman speed and doing stuff, them being underwater, talking and all that, and how they made that work is fascinating in itself. And there was one scene in the film where this big, ferociously large creature, and I don't know what the creature was called, I can't remember, but he's basically protecting the gold trident that Aquaman eventually is worthy enough, like King Arthur, to get the sword. He gets the gold trident. And Nicole Kidman, she did such a great job. She's alive in the movie. She was banished, basically sacrificed to like the center of the earth, where there's an ocean in the center of the earth. Beneath all that, there's an ocean. Well, it's good to know. So, there were so many aspects, and it's really going to take more time to break down Aquaman, and I think this could save DC now. Universe building, this is a way to do it, because we've had... I would put this up there if there were a trilogy of movies right now. Right now, I would say Man of Steel and Wonder Woman. I would be comfortable putting Aquaman up there for standalone movies. I think it worked. And I want DC to succeed. I don't want DC to fail. And even though I'd still like to see the Snyder Cut, those days are behind us. I think darker DC is behind us. I think they've learned that they can Marvelize their films, for lack of a better term. And I think they're going to do these solo movies. I think, there was a mention to events in either Batman versus Superman or Justice League. I cannot remember. Probably it would have been Justice League. Even though that was the final product on that, we know was a mess. But it's a shame, because I think at some point we need another Justice League movie done correctly. The right tone, the characters done, no pun intended, but do justice to each individual character the way they should be. So anyway, I've got to bring this episode to a close. So thank you, anybody who watches this video or watched it live or on the replay. Certainly leave your comments. Be nice about those comments too. It's the best I can do right now with the video portion here, but we're still going at Geek Homeworld. That's geekhomeworld.libsyn.com. That's our main site. Here on the YouTube page here, you can see videos. I'm trying to do more videos, trying to experiment more with that, more interactivity, building the community here for Geek Homeworld. So hopefully you'll join us next time for our live stream. And we're also on Facebook, Geek Homeworld. You can like that page, follow us there for some updates and different things. We're also on iTunes, the audio podcast. So you'll see a version of this. You'll see this video version if it uploads. If it doesn't, then me talking about this whole video thing was a mistake. So I'm sure it'll work. But it'll be up there. Forgive me for the lighting. Forgive me, I don't have true 3-point lighting here. The sound is an earpiece here. That's probably scraggly. It's all through my Note 9 phone that I'm using right here. So I'm trying a different way on a tripod here, and still recording So the audio is going to sound much better, or probably on the audio podcast than it does on YouTube. I don't know. So it usually does, but and this autofocus is going a little crazy. So that means my lighting's not probably right, but I'm sorry. That's best I could do right now. So if you want to offer your skills in your multi-camera setup, then want to send me some moolah to make it happen, that if that calls on you, then that calls on you, and I appreciate it. But anyway, got a lot coming in 2014. 2014, really? Wow, I just went back in time. 2019 is coming. Winter is upon us. It is the winter solstice today when I'm recording this. So happy winter solstice. Happy shortest day of the year. Happy sort of coldest day of the year, even though it's really not that way here where I live in the South. But anyway, thank you for all the people internationally I know that listen. Maybe you'll be viewing now, and maybe we'll be interacting more. So that's the purpose of being on YouTube. So maybe we can grow a bigger audience here too. That would be nice. I figured it's just a compliment after 10 years of podcasting, and I finally showed my face on 100 episodes, and it's a big deal. But I've got to get used to looking at the camera, because I want to look at myself, which is right there, which you probably can't see me pointing. And when I look right there, I'm pointing at the camera, but it looks like I'm pointing at the camera. My big old fingernail. Good Lord. My finger's big. I got to learn some camera basics. But anyway, I don't care. I'm rattling on. So this is fun. So thanks for joining us. Thank you for watching this. And please hit that subscribe button down there or down there. I don't know. I know the camera is probably flipped. So somewhere down here, there's a there's a subscribe button. You can hit that. Thank you. And I wish you all Merry Christmas, whatever holidays you're celebrating. Happy New Year to everyone. So there's a lot of things I'm excited about in 2019, especially probably at the top of the list is Episode 9 of Star Wars and James Cameron. Oh, yes. I didn't mean to say James Cameron, but now that I did, I'm looking forward to his direct sequel to Terminator 2 with the original casts. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. I'm a big Terminator fan. Love the Terminator franchise. So just love the time travel element like in Star Trek and Star Wars, which I also love, of course. So anyway, I know I'm rambling on and people are going, gosh, this is whatever. I just wanted just end it. So I'm going to end it. Anyway, so go see Aquaman. If you can see it in Big D or IMAX or whatever, do it. It's much better that way. This is a movie that should be experienced that way, I believe. Also, check out Spiderman Into the Spiderverse. I think you'll enjoy it. So, I'm Ed Ciucevich, a.k.a. SavageTechman. You can follow me on Twitter. You can also follow me. You can check out my radio show if you're interested in the film community and how films are made. I speak with actors and directors, casting directors, producers, everyone in the business, and that's Savannah on Film. You can go over to the Facebook page and like Savannah on Film. We've got a Twitter. I haven't done much with the Twitter. I think I just set up a Savannah on Film Instagram, which is Savannah on Film Radio. That's Savannah on Film Radio. And that is the official Twitter account of my radio show, Savannah on Film, which it comes on Saturdays, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's East Coast time. So we do the show live, and then we live stream it on Savannah on Film on Facebook. So you can check it out there also and like that page and follow us there. And Geek Homeworld has a page similar. And I could have easily done a Facebook chat, would have been probably better, but I don't have my good computer. I'm borrowing the wife's computer. It's a little inferior to my workhorse of a computer, which is still in the shop. So Best Buy, fix my computer, get it back to me. That'll be my Christmas present, I suppose. Anyway, gotta say goodbye. Thank you everyone for listening, and thank you for listening to this episode 104. Yeah, 104 of the Geek Homeworld podcast. And thank y'all for watching, interacting, and for listening. And here's to a great 2019. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Geek Homeworld podcast with your host, SavageTechman. You can find us on Libsyn, Google+, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, listen to us on iTunes, see us on YouTube, be part of our Mixler chats. Thank you. See you again on the Geek Homeworld podcast.